Guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is my Saturday meal. As you know, as a Liberian, we love our dry rice, okay? So I made this dry rice yesterday and I am posting this video on Sunday. But this video is for all my people who always asking for recipe. So grab your pen, grab your paper because I am going to tell you how I made this dry rice, and I'm also going to show you how I made this dry rice. So get ready, let's get into it. And one thing I can tell you is that I have not made this dry rice in so long, and I have seen a few different videos on my Facebook page. I've seen people post potato grain dry rice, cassava leaf dry rice, palava sauce dry rice, but I was like, okay, I gotta make me some potato greens dry rice. It's been too long. So first thing I start with my potato greens. Get you some fresh potato greens. Cut them off the stems. What I did was I still added some of the stem there. I peeled off some of the stems, broke them and put them in with the grains. And just make sure to wash them very, very well. And so I washed this like multiple times, because they don't wash them. So you just gotta make sure you wash them very good. And I got some snapper. Okay, so I cut my grains and I put them on the side, and then I went to my fish because I did this earlier in the morning on Saturday, and then I made the food in the afternoon. So I cut my grains, I cleaned my fish, and I seasoned it, and then I just let them sit until I was ready to cook. And so I have snapper over here. It's been so long also since I had snapper. I mostly do tilapia, but I drove a lot of miles. I drove a lot of miles first to get the fresh potato grains and to get the snapper, because I don't have any store closer to me that sell those things. There is like one Asian store that you can get fresh potato greens from where I am. And I'm so grateful for them because sometimes I just need those fresh potato grains. Because in the African store, they only have the frozen ones. This is why I made Philadelphia. I used to get fresh cut grains from Philadelphia, but I'm grateful for that Asian store. And so I put a mix of my seasonings together, and you can season your fish how you want to season it based on your liking. Get you all of your favorite spices and put them together. And just take your time to make sure that you ready season it really well. You rub the seasoning in, because I'm using just dry seasoning. So I took my time and just really rub it in very well to make sure that my fish was seasoned really good. And I might list some of the seasonings that I use. Best in case somebody is like, but what seasoning did you use? Well, okay, you will get that. But you have to read to get that, because I'm not going to list everything right now, because it's a lot of seasonings. Yeah, it's a lot of seasoning. Well, now it's time to start cooking that rice. I decided to go with this big pot, even though I know the food I was cooking wasn't much for this pot, but I wanted to have that room. And normally I don't cook my rice in the pot because I use my rice cooker. So you'll see further on in this video that I was really trying to make sure that I have the rice texture really well, because when I'm cooking my rice cooker, I just know exactly what the rice should be. I know how to measure it with my fingers, what the water should be. But since I was cooking it in this pot, and I don't think I've ever cooked rice in this pot, because the type of pot that you are cooking in also can contribute to how your rice turn out. So I try to be very mindful of this, because I didn't want my rice to come up too soft. Definitely didn't want that. I just wanted it to have that perfect texture, especially for a dry rice. I also decided to make me some pepper sauce. And in my pepper sauce, I have some dry bouillon, I have some parsley, I have red onions, yellow onions, some mini peppers, and then I have a whole lot of habanero peppers, because I wanted this to be spicy. It's been a while since I made pepper sauce, but the people in my household been complaining about too much pepper, so I was like, let me make my pepper sauce so they don't have to eat a lot of pepper in the food. So I made me some pepper sauce and then season it and just let it cook. Pepper sauce is very easy to cook. Once you have all of your ingredients blended up and poured it, you just season it and you just let it simmer. And that's just what I did. It was simmering the whole time I was cooking. And again, I will list the seasonings. I just not going to list them with this voice over, but I will list them on the video for you to know the seasonings that I use, because I don't want you coming back in my comments to say what seasoning did you use. I don't know if I've never said this before, but most of my videos, I just want people to just enjoy my video. But since people keep asking about recipe, I even had someone say, I'm going to unsubscribe because your video is just too fast and I don't know the ingredients. My bad. I did not realize that I was teaching the class. I thought I was just entertaining. But okay, let's move on. And so I did let my boni, my peppers, and my okra, and I added my eggs also. I let them to boil, and then I went in, I took out my peppers and my onions before adding my rice to this. And the reason for this is because I didn't want it to be difficult, because at some point I'm going to have to take all of these up and mash them up. So I didn't want them all mixed up in the rice, that I have to look for them in the rice. So I went ahead and I took them. I left the boni in because I need the boni mixed in with the rice. So after washing my rice, I went in with my rice. And what I did over here, because I never really measured the water because I needed all of those things to boil, I went ahead and I scooped out some of the water because I wanted to make sure that I don't overcook this rice. And so I kept checking on it. At this point, I took out my eggs because I put my eggs in last. You saw from the beginning of the video, when I put my peppers and my okra in, I did not put my egg in. I put my egg in later. That's why I kept it in longer. So you cook a little bit with the rice. So I kept adding a little bit of water, just adjusting the texture of the rice just to make sure that it's not undercooked and it's also not overcooked. So I did that for a few times and just kept checking it to make sure. And also adjusting the heat. Like I said, I've never cooked rice in this pot, and this is a very thick pot. So I had to be very mindful of it. So I kept adding some of that water back that I took out. I kept it. So if you did it like this, make sure to keep that water, because that water has some seasonings and flavor in it from the peppers and onions. So I kept adding it little by little until I achieve the desired texture that I wanted. And I was like, okay, now that's good. I can go in and add my potato grains and let it cook. And then I chopped my potato grains up a little bit and then rub it up with my hand. I didn't add anything to it. I just rubbed it with my hand, added it, and then the peppers that I took out, I put them on the top because I'm going to blend up the peppers and the potato grains together. And then for my I added my seasoning on top so that it can steam. And when I blend up the potato grains and peppers for the rice, because this rice is not really going to have anything extra, so you want to make sure that your rice is seasoned. It has a good taste to just be able to eat by itself, because everything is all going to be mixed up together. And at this point, everything seems like it was ready. It was time to take out the potato grains and peppers and get them all mashed up. And this is one of the fun part, This is the fun part. And oh my God, I'm so glad I made this potato green dry rice. Sometimes you just have to get back in touch with your culture, with your roots. And I've been in the States for many years. I've never went back home, and sometimes it's just hard to get the right ingredients to make what you want to make. But for some reason, I was able to get everything that I needed for this dry rice, and it turned out really great. It turned out so great, and I'm just glad that I decided to make it, because this was just a blast from the past. It just got you got me in my feelings, thinking about my childhood, thinking about growing up in Liberia and all of those memories. And like, yeah. Well, yeah. Then, like Heritage Heat on Facebook, Bernice Massacre on Facebook, they really do inspire me to get deep, or they go back into some of those African foods. Because I kind of make more of a blended style kind of meals. I have a mixed household, so it works for me, but I like to be reminded. So when they do remind me, I'm like, okay, now you just got me thinking about something. And so I gotta make it. So yeah, we blend everything up and make sure to taste, because I kept tasting this. Even though I added seasoning earlier, I kept tasting it as I mash it up, just to make sure I achieve my desired taste. So, make sure you are tasting your food to make sure that it is what you want it to be. At the end of the day, you are making it for you. And if you enjoy it, it doesn't matter what anybody else say. And just one thing I know that every time I make something, I never really get like, oh, this is terrible, this is bad. So I was like, oh, this is so good. Even some of the foods that I will kind of make up in my head and just decide to make them. That's why when people say recipe, because sometimes I don't have any recipe written down. Literally, most of those videos is as I make them up as I go when I'm cooking. So when you say recipe and I see that type of comment, it just makes me laugh, because I'm like, I doubt I even remember how I made that food. Like the other proof is the recording it. I don't have anything written down. It's probably my first time. Like my recipes are always different every single time I cook. It's never the same. Just never the same. But they are always really good. They always turn out really good. I definitely make them with intention, but at the same time, I do not keep track of what I'm putting in them. I just decide what I want to make. I plan it out in my head. That I have absolutely nothing written down, people. I have nothing written down. And sometimes once I already record a video, it's going to take me having to maybe rewatch that video piece by piece to be able to get you all of those ingredients. But yeah, all I can say is, just pay attention to the video. And also, sometimes when people do leave comments to ask for a recipe, I will go and respond to your comment and giving you some ingredients. That's the most I can do. And if you are watching my video, you can also tell how long it takes to make the food that I make, because I always have the clock behind me. So you can just clock it from the time you see me, I put the food in the pot, to the time I return, to check on it. You can just keep track of that time. That will tell you exactly how long it took me to do, maybe how long it took me to cook the rice, or how long it took me to cook the fish. That is the best I can do right now, because I'm not a recipe girl, people. I just do this stuff. I just make it up as I go. But I still know what I'm doing. I have to base this down. All right. So if you saw my palm oil, I always like to make my palm oil with some onions and season a little bit. This just adds a little bit of. I'm telling you, add that extra flavor to your food. So don't just take your palm oil straight and just put it on your food. Put it in that pot, add some onion, add a little bit of seasoning to it. Not too much. It's just oil, so don't go doing too much. And there you go. There is our dry rice, people. There's our dry rice. It's just so delicious. So delicious. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Bye.